and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jasmine. I make lifestyle and beauty videos. If you're returning, welcome as well. Thank you so much for your love and support. I truly do appreciate it. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing something very different on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and start a marriage series talking all about my marriage, my wedding planning, wedding tips, just things around that nature. So I am going to be doing wedding videos or marriage videos every Wednesdays, and then on Sundays it's going to involve a lot of makeup videos, a lot of vlogs, monthly favorites, things like that. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A. So I went ahead on my Instagram and asked you guys to ask me questions regarding my marriage or just marriage in general. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So it's going to be a very chill, laid back video. So I am going to go ahead and start answering some questions that I have on my phone that I asked you guys on my Instagram. So before we get into the questions, a little bit about my marriage, kind of like a backstory. So Jesus and I did have 2 different weddings. We got married through the court on May 3rd of 2019, and then we got married through the church on December 7th of 2019. We did move in together and we got married in May just because that was something that we wanted to do. We didn't really want to wait until our church wedding, so we did move in together in May. So we have been married and living together for a little bit over a year already. So for the first question, what was different after you got married? So I feel like there's a lot of things that change after you get married, just because you're living together now, you're sharing, you know, your money. For us, I feel like living together, obviously that's one thing that was different. Before, I had my own apartment in Long Beach and he was living here in Palm Desert, so there was about a 3-hour difference there. So from Monday to Friday, I would be having my alone time, you know, just doing things on myself, hanging out with my friends, and then the weekends I would hang out with Jesus. So I feel like that was different now that we're married, because we see each other every single day, the morning, afternoon, and then we go to bed together. So I feel like that's just a big change, just getting used to being with someone 24/7. Another thing that changed was our spending. So before, you know, I was making my own money. I was able to spend it on whatever I want to spend it on. So was he was making his own money. He was able to spend it on whatever he wanted to spend it on. But I feel like once you get married, you're a little bit more considerate about your money, especially because, at least for us, we decided to combine our monies together. So we never say your money or my money, we just say our money. So I feel like what changed was I had to be a little bit more considerate on my spending, you know, kind of put a budget on myself every month to not go over, just because we do have other priorities, like our rent bill, utilities bill, groceries, things like that. And then say for him, he kind of puts a budget on himself that we both agreed on, so we know not to go over it each month. But I feel like those are the big things that kind of changed once we got married. The next question is, did you ever feel like you were too young to get married? So I got married when I was 22 and Jesus was 24 at the time. I feel like there's not a precise timeline for when someone should get married. I feel like everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own timeline. I don't really feel like you have to get married at, you know, 20, or you have to get married by 25. I honestly don't believe in that. I feel like everyone has their own journey. As far as for me, I feel like I wasn't too young. Me and Jesus started a relationship back in 2017, and then we were married by 2019. So it only took us 2 years to get married. Many people say that's super fast, just because we got engaged a year after dating and then we got married a year after that. But I don't feel like it was too fast, or I don't feel like I was too young, because I just knew that this is a person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. I knew he was going to be a really good husband, a really good father eventually. So no, I don't really feel like I got married too young. I feel like I was at the right time and I got married with the right person. So the next question is, how did you know Jesus was the one? I feel like this question is sometimes really hard to answer, because there's a lot of little things that Jesus would do where I would be okay, I'm gonna marry this guy. It's just, this is a person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I feel like there's little things that he would do, but I feel like I knew with him being so understanding. I feel like when it comes to long distance, you really have to make time to talk to that person, text that person, call that person. And Jesus never really put that pressure on me. Like if I was busy and I didn't text them, like we wouldn't have a fight about that. Or if I was busy, I was hanging out with friends, like I didn't feel the need that I was like, oh my god, I have to text him or else he's gonna get mad. Like I feel like he was just so understanding that like I also have a life besides like him in a way. Like I have my friends, I have my family, and it's not just like him, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. That doesn't sound too mean, but he was just very understanding about both our schedules and that we couldn't talk like every second of the day. Another thing was that he was so supportive on anything that I wanted to do. Like literally I would tell him the most crazy idea and he would like really support it, and he was like, you can do this. I think another thing that made me realize that he was the one was just how he loved me, and I can see it by the little things that he would do. If it was like a note, or if it was like a flower, or if it was him just telling me, you know, like I love you, like he would just really demonstrate and show me how much he cared about me every single day. There wasn't a day that went by where he didn't express like his feelings, or he didn't tell me like how he felt. So I never really had a question like where we stood, if that makes sense. So for the next question is, did you guys do premarital counseling? So we did do a retreat at our church. So it was like a weekend retreat where you go in Saturday and Sunday, and there's like other couples too. You kind of just talk about what marriage is like, and you talk about like kind of your expectations and what you expect in a marriage. So we did do that. We both really liked it. Like we want to go back and do some more like couples retreat and things like that, just because honestly, like I'm so happy that we did it. We talked about marriage, we talked about how we wanted God to be part of our marriage. That's something that we both really wanted. I can't say that we're both like we go to church like every Sunday. No, we are trying to like work on getting like closer to God and like, you know, doing those little things. We are Catholic, so we pray at night, you know, we do our thing, but we just don't go to church as much. When we went to that retreat, we really did want God to be part of our marriage. But yeah, we did do that premarital like counseling, so I really liked it. You talk literally about what you expect in a marriage, and then you hear all these stories from like other marriages, and they showed us like a young couple, like a couple like in their like 30s 40s, and then like an older couple like in their 70s 80s. So it was like really nice to see that, and you kind of just talk about what you expect in a marriage, and then you guys both talk about like how you want your marriage to flourish, how you want it to be. And I feel like that was something that we really did enjoy. So grateful. I'm so blessed that we went to it, and I know we do want to do some more like couple retreats. Okay, so for the next question is, what boundaries have you set for each of your families, if you guys have set any? I don't think we really like set any boundaries for our family. Like, we didn't really like, sit them down and say like these are the boundaries, but we both did talk to our parents in the sense of like they know us. So even before we got married, like I always told my parents like where they stand in a way. They know to give me advice. I will listen to it, but they know that I'm not always gonna take it. Same with his family. Like his just not scared to tell his mom like, okay, you're doing too much, or you know, I'll hear you out, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna take it. So when we both got married, and because our parents are really close, they're best friends, our moms are like best friends, they were really happy when we got together. So we knew that like there might be times where they give us advice, or they might put their input in something. During like our wedding, for example, like the, you know, the guest list, right? So my mom wanted to invite some people, his mom wanted to invite some people, so we both had to tell them, you know, like this is our wedding, we're gonna be inviting people that we want to invite, that are a part of our lives, and not just people that we see like once a year or something, you know? So I feel like our parents kind of know how we are. How do you set aside differences? So I feel like Jesus and I are really good with this. We do argue, like we're not a perfect couple, we do argue, but it's not really big arguments. Like we've been together for almost 3 years, like including like dating, and we've literally never had a big fight where we're like screaming at each other or like slamming doors. We just never liked that. We never wanted our relationship to be about yelling at each other back and forth and slamming doors and just getting really angry. Like we knew that if there was a problem, we wanted to sit down and talk about it. And so far, like that's how it's been. Like if we ever disagree on something, or we have differences in the case, like we literally hear each other out and we try to work it out. Jesus is not the person to argue. I'm probably the person to argue, just because like I think I got used to that. Like, it's just the person that I am. Like, if we're fighting, like, I'll argue back sometimes, and he kind of helped me like work with that too, because he doesn't argue. Like, he doesn't raise his voice at me, he doesn't scream at me, he honestly just talks. Like, he communicates with me, right? Like, if he doesn't like something, then he'll tell me, like, you know what, like, I didn't like this, or, you know, I think differently, or whatever the case is. So every time we have a difference, or every time we have like a little bit of an argument, we literally sit down, we talk to each other, and we really listen to each other. I think that's one of the important things, is that we really truly listen to each other and what we both have to say, and then we come back and like try to find a solution for that problem, or a solution for that argument. Sometimes we'll take a little break, right? Like, so if we're both heated, we both are like angry or mad or whatever, we'll kind of go ahead and just do our own thing, kind of relax a little bit, and then we'll come back and like talk to each other when we're both a little more calm. Just because we both feel like once you're really mad, like, I feel like you're not able to listen to the other person, so you kind of have to like calm down a little bit. But in all honesty, like, Jesus and I don't really argue that much. If it's probably like little things, like mostly like bickering, but we really don't argue, we really don't fight. And I feel like that's one of the things that I really love about him, that he's just more about communicating with me. And just because we just think about our future and like having kids, and we just don't want our kids to be hearing all of that. We want to teach them like communication and to really listen to the other person. So I think that's how we do our differences. So for the next question I have, how do you manage to love and understand each other? So for this one, I guess it's like 2 questions. So how do you manage to love each other? So for the love part, I feel like that's just comes naturally. I've learned the way that he wanted to be loved, so we kind of learn that about each other, because I feel like sometimes you tend to love the other person the way that you want to be loved, and you have to really learn like how they want to be loved, because it's like it might be 2 completely different things, right? So I feel like just doing little things for each other, reminding each other that, you know, we still feel the same way. We do little things throughout the day, like leaving each other notes. We'll sometimes be in the office together, and we'll like make a paper plane and have a note inside, and we'll just kind of throw it at each other. Just kind of doing those little things for each other. And then how do you manage to understand each other? I feel like listening. I feel like listening is such a big part when it comes to marriage, because if you don't listen to the other person, like, how are you going to be able to understand them? We are listening to each other and not just kind of interrupting each other. Like, when one person is talking, we tend to just really not say nothing and listen, instead of like interrupting like every few seconds because we have to say something. And I used to do that a lot, to be honest, like so much, and I feel like Jesus kind of helped me out with that. So like now I'm really able to listen to him, and he's able to really listen to me. So for the next question I have, what's been the easiest and the hardest part about your marriage so far? I think the easiest part is probably moving in with each other. I feel like I didn't really have like a hard adjustment, to be honest. Like, I did have to get used to a lot of little things, but I feel like that was really easy because we both really wanted to live with each other, and I had no problem with it. Like, I did the things that I wanted to do still. Like, I feel like that was just really easy for me. And then also our families, because our families knew each other for over 10 years, that made it super easy. So we didn't really do the whole like meet the family thing, because we both already knew them. So I feel like that was like super easy, and I was so blessed with that. What's been the hardest part about your marriage so far? Honestly, I don't feel like there's been like a hard time in my marriage. We've only been together for a year. Like, who knows about the future? But so far, like, we honestly haven't really had like a hard time with our marriage. We've had honestly a really nice marriage, and many people say it's because the first year is like the honeymoon phase. I don't know, maybe we might be still in that phase, but nothing's been hard, to be honest. The next question is, do you plan on having kids? If so, how many? I think I got like a good 5 people asked me this question. So we do plan on having kids. So we both do want to start a family and have a family of our own. We do plan on having 4. So we want to have 3 of our own, and then we also want to adopt the 4th one. That is part of our plans. I also got the question of when are we gonna have kids? Honestly, we don't know. We're just kind of we don't really have like a set day or a set time frame when we're gonna have a baby. We know that we do want kids in the future. And next one I got is financial advice. So for this one, I don't know how I can give you guys advice, but I feel like really communicate with each other. So like Jesus was really good with finances. Like he's a person that kind of manages like our finances a lot more, just because he's able to understand it a lot more than I am. When we got into our marriage, we both really told each other like if we had anything that we owed. So I told him like, you know, like I have student loans. I told him like, you know, I have a couple of credit cards. He told me like, oh, I have my credit cards, things like that. You really do want to be open with each other before getting married about those things, because something that we knew is that when we get married, like those loans or those things are going to be us now. You know, it's not just going to be yours. Like we're both going to have to work for it to kind of bring those down. So we were very open with each other from the beginning on what we owed, just because you don't want to go into a marriage and the other person not tell you how much they owe on something. And that's just like my personal opinion. So far now, like we finished off paying our credit cards. I finished off paying 2 of my credit cards already, and that's with his help. Like, you know, like he kind of showed me like, okay, you know, you get this much from your check, save this much for yourself, and the rest put it in this, or the rest put it in that. We do go 50-50 on everything. So for like the rent, I pay my half, he pays his half. For bills, I pay my half, he pays his half. Car insurance, I pay my car insurance, he pays his car insurance. We both settled on doing that half and half. I wanted to go 50-50 just because I never believed that only the man's supposed to be paying for the things around the house. I feel like I'm working, I have a degree, like I can also put my part and set a plan out. So when we got married, we kind of had a plan, you know, okay, we're gonna take this long paying this off so we can be done with that. And we kind of focused on that plan and really budgeted ourselves to kind of finish, because we do want to get a house in the future. So we want our credits to be really good, and they are. Like literally our credits have gone up so much just by us helping each other out. But that's as far as I know with financial advice so far. I feel like we're gonna learn a lot more in the future. For the next question is, how do you deal with any negative reactions from people saying you're too young or anything? I don't think I've gotten like negative reactions when it comes to being too young. I think the most that I've gotten was like surprises. So when I, you know, informed my family or like my friends that I was getting married, I got a lot of the things of like, that happened really fast, like don't you want to wait. I also got the whole like, don't you want to like explore more, like, you know, go out and things like that. I didn't feel like I needed to be not married for me to go out with my friends or go out to get a drink or go out to dance or things like that. I didn't really need that. I feel like I did that during my college like years, so I really didn't really feel the need to do it again or keep doing it. That doesn't mean like I don't like going out, or I don't like going out hanging out with my friends, but I don't really think I got any negative like reactions toward it. I think it was more of like, don't you want to experience more? Don't you want to keep on going out? And honestly, like, no, like Jesus and I are not really big when it comes to going out too much. Between us, I'm more of the person that goes out, he's more of like the homebody. But there's times where I want to be a homebody too, if that makes sense. So if I do want to go out, then he'll come out. You know, if I tell him like, you know, I want to go dancing this weekend, then he'll go take me dancing. You know, even if he doesn't really like doing it, he'll go because I want to go. If I want to go hang out with my friends, I'll go hang out with my friends. Like, we don't limit each other to like those little things that you want to do. I think that kind of answers that question. The next question is, what's the most spontaneous thing Jesus has done for you? I feel like he's done a lot of like little spontaneous things. I think the most spontaneous thing that he did was for my birthday last year. He actually got me the camera that I'm recording this video on. So I had mentioned to Jesus that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I was just like scared. He got me a camera for my birthday. He got me a ring light. So he basically got me like all the equipment that I needed to like start a YouTube channel. And I feel like that was part of the most spontaneous thing that he did, because I really was not expecting it. And I was so grateful. And now I've been on YouTube for almost a year. I think I've been on YouTube for like 10 months now, almost a year, and I feel like I've grown so much. My channel has grown so much, and I just thank him for that, because I feel like I got out of my shell a little bit more. The next question is, what spontaneous thing have you done for Jesus? I think the most spontaneous thing I've done was Valentine's Day. I think this was back in 2017 or 2018. It was Valentine's Day, and he was coming up to see me, and at the time I was living with my roommate. So I talked to her what I wanted to do, and she was like, yeah, like I'll leave the house so you guys can have like, you know, like alone time. So I remember I cooked dinner, and then I decorated our whole apartment like all lovey-dovey. I had like love and happy Valentine's Day with balloons, and I had like steak for dinner, and I had like candles like going up, like basically like a little walkway and everything. I'll try to put a video up here so you guys can see. I think I did save one, so if I do find one, I'll put it up in this area right here. But I think that was like the most spontaneous thing I've ever did for him, because he was so surprised. He was not expecting it at all, and he was just, you can just see like the big smile in his face, and I think that was like so amazing because I love to see him smile. But I think that was like the most spontaneous thing I've ever done for him. Who's lazier? I am, for sure. I feel like I'm more lazier in the sense of like I like just watching TV and laying down. Jesus is a person that loves playing video games, so he'll spend like hours playing video games. But if like I want to watch a movie, then he'll come and watch a movie with me. But I feel like I'm more lazier when it comes to like little things. And then, do you sometimes feel like you need physical space from Jesus? Yeah, I feel like there's times where we're spending too much time together where we do both want our space. So he'll go and play like his video games, and then I'll go ahead and do like a YouTube video. Like right now, right? Like right now I'm recording this video, and then he's like playing video games right now. That's kind of how we do like our space from each other, to kind of have like a break. And then after I'm done with the video, then we'll go ahead and just watch a movie together or start cooking together, little things like that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I do feel like I need that space from him, and I feel like sometimes he needs that space from me too. Next question is, what was something that no one told you when you became a wife? So growing up, I feel like everyone always told me like the wife is to do the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, like those typical like wife duties, and the man's supposed to work and bring in the money. I feel like that was always something that I knew growing up. Not the case with my marriage at all. We both do the cooking, we both do the dishes, we both do the laundry, even though sometimes he does it way more than me, to be honest, because I hate doing laundry. So he'll do the laundry and then I'll do the folding. But we honestly both cook. If I don't feel like cooking one day, he'll cook something. We both clean. Jesus is a big clean freak, so he's like bigger than me. So like if I clean, he'll go over it because it's supposedly like not clean. So he's a big clean freak. So when it comes to cleaning, like he'll clean with me, he'll do the bed with me. Like we don't really have a precise like role in our relationship. We just know like if there's something that needs to get done, one of us is gonna do it. Obviously when it comes to like cars and things like that, yeah, he'll be the one to do it because I know nothing about cars. But when it comes to like little things around the household, like he'll do them, you know, like he's not afraid to wash the dishes or clean up, you know, the bedroom or little things like that. Like when we have kids, like both of them are gonna wash the dishes, you know, both of them are gonna, you know, sweep or mop. Like we're not gonna just put it on one specific person or like just on the girls if we ever have any girls. I think that's one thing that I was really happy about. What advice would you give someone who is about to get married? I feel like my best advice would be have fun. I think marriage is something that's so much fun. Like you're literally living with your best friend, you know, so have fun, you know, don't put so much pressure on your marriage either. Another advice would be understanding and be considerate. So just because you believe in something or just because you agree with something doesn't mean the other person might agree with it too. So just be very open-minded, don't be so close-minded. Another advice, remember that this is your marriage. So you're gonna have a lot of people probably telling you many different things, but remember that this is your marriage, so do it the way that you want it to be done, you know. Make those decisions with your husband or with your partner. Don't listen to a lot of the outside source, just so you can make up your own choice and your own decisions. So I think that's something that we did for our marriage. We knew what we didn't want to do, we knew what we did want to do. We talked about that before we even got married, what we didn't like, what we do like. So we both agreed on that, so I feel like that kind of helped a lot. I know this video was a little bit too long, so I hope I did answer a good amount of questions. So if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe down below to be part of my journey here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that post notification button to be notified every time I post a new video, and I'll go ahead and see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.